We're uncovering more new history at Wisconsin's historic sites. Our next step back in time takes place along the mighty Mississippi, where the Dousman family began developing their estate in the mid-1840s at a site they affectionately called Villa Louie. Born at the turn of the 19th century, Hercules Louis Dousman worked hard as a fur trader, lumberman, land speculator, and frontier entrepreneur. The entire property was designed to reflect the family's rise to wealth and leisure living. You can only learn so much history by reading about it in a book or searching online. That's why sites like here in Prairie du Chien are such a treasure in Wisconsin. And they're always uncovering even more history. So let's see what's new or restored here at Villa Louie.
Well, welcome to Villa Louie. The house that we're going to tour is actually the second house that the Dousman family built and lived in here. Their first house was built on the same spot in 1843, but in the 1870s, the second generation of the family simply tore down the first house, and this new house was built in its place.
We'll step inside the main house in just a minute, but the tour also includes a look into some of the other buildings around the estate. Imagine playing a game of three-ball French carom or sending mail from the Dousman office building. Inside the preserve house or main kitchen, you may be as fortunate as I was and witness staff cooks baking up some timeless treats.
All of the recipes that we use here at the villa are from the 1800s, and molasses and sorghum would have been sweeteners. So molasses cookies.
Marcia and her granddaughter Monica bake up treats at times during the summer tours. And if you want to see more of my cooking demonstration, just head over to our website and watch a bonus video from this episode. Now it's time to head outside to see the gardens and talk to someone about Villa Louie's final renovation.
So as we're walking through the grounds here, the way you see things is exactly the way the Dousmans had it when they were here through the 1870s, 1880s, 1890s.
When I first arrived here, I have to say I was surprised by just how big the property really is. Can you give us a lay of the land?
Sure. Well, today we have 25 of about the original 60 acres that the Dousmans had. 60 acres on the island. We are on St. Farrell Island, and there are only 2 little bridges you can use to cross over to come visit our site.
And I understand the restoration process was a big deal for what went on here.
It was a big deal. It really started in the mid-1990s. The sitting room was the room that we just finished last summer, and it really was a top-to-bottom restoration, and it actually took over about 13 years to finish.
Using everything from photographs, receipts, and inventory lists, the sitting room's restoration is as accurate as you can get. I think the biggest compliment I can give is the room doesn't even look like it was restored. You could be looking into this room just like you would have in the mid-1890s. Now, the sitting room is just one of 25 rooms you can see on the tour. The last room we'll show you is just across the hall. How cool is it to be in front of this 134-year-old classic piano, listening to beautiful music by Samantha here? So Samantha, can you take us all the way back to 1879? How did this instrument end up at Villa Louie?
Well, in 1879, the family was living in St. Louis, Missouri, and they had purchased a piano to fill a space in their art gallery on the condition that when the Centennial Model D became available, they would have one of those to fill. And the family had left the piano to a boarding school in the area, and it had been severely abused. When we got the piano, it didn't have the original legs any longer, and sometime in the 1980s, it just quit working, and it was no longer tunable.
Learn about the piano's restoration, hear more music from Samantha, and find out how you can tour the Villa Louie with a half-price or free admission membership from the Wisconsin Historic Sites destination page on our website. Now, when we come back, our historical tour concludes. But wait a second, why is Colin in that baseball uniform?
The saddle! Trout! Cannonball!